you doing, Jeff? Good evening, morning. Hope you're well. I'm running a little behind, so I'm just clearing my desk a little. How you doing, Hawk? Hi, Patrick. Just waiting for my computer to start up so I can get you guys on the larger screen so I can see the messages a little bit more clearly. All right, here we go. Okie dokie. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Hawk. Hi, Tony from Rhode Island. Piper on the 45. Patrick. Jeff Babarecki. How you doing? I do recall seeing your name before, Jeff. Welcome back. Sharon, how you doing? Mum and Dad, pretty good. Thank you very much, Sharon. Hope you and Paul are well. And Rusirigliano. No new pipe today. I don't work on Saturdays, as you may know. And nightfall finishes quite late, so there's no time really to make a pipe until the winter again. So I won't be doing pipes really on Saturday nights unless I decide to do London calling from the workshop and make a pipe instead of chatting with you guys. Who else? I think that's everybody. Okay, cool. So I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend so far. My wife has informed me that we're having a birthday party tomorrow. It's going to be a combined party, myself and my son, who was born on the same day as me, on the 7th of April. And we're going to my daughter and son-in-law. I think they're putting together a barbecue. Double Earl Grey today, two tea bags of Earl Grey for that extra bit of flavour. Podcast University, I'm going to have to do a stumble and put it on big screen. And okay, well I hope it doesn't get too bad. Summer hasn't even started. Cheers, Sharon. Well, the actual birthday itself was on the 7th, but the party's going to be tomorrow. My wife decided to combine it, which makes sense. So in terms of tobacco, so far today, all I've had is some Orlik Golden Sliced. I have to say it wasn't my most favourite bowl of Orlik Golden Sliced. I smoked it in my new LCS egg, which has been smoking Orlik Golden Sliced very, very well. But didn't really taste that good. So I was thinking of doing a bit of a mishmash. Of this Edisto, Low Country Edisto, together with Orlik Golden Sliced. I did do a first impressions, which you guys will see in the fullness of time. I'm not going to say any more about that. That's something interesting coming up. But the flavours that I got from it, which I'm not going to talk about majorly, but the flavours that I got from it, there's a certain richness to it which I thought might go well, just to lift the Orlik Golden Sliced. It may be a complete fail as well. I can see it working both ways. So I'm kind of thinking about that. Hey Tony, how you doing? Or possibly go a different way and smoke something else completely. Maybe smoke a McClelland. I haven't smoked a McClelland for a while. Let me see what the 2014 is looking like. So I've said many times the 2014 has been one of my favourite Christmas cheer vintages. It's really good. I mean, I'm not hugely smoking McClellans anymore. For me, I'm much more back into more traditional, classic Virginias like Orlik Golden Sliced and that kind of thing. This is a once in a while treat, but it's glistening. It's really developing some nice sugar crystals on it. And the aroma, the jar note is fantastic. I opened this in August 2021, so we have for 8 months, well, 7 and a bit months. We'll see if there's been any improvement, so maybe we'll smoke some of that. Broken Flake, for those of you who are unfamiliar. I actually took out a tin of 40th anniversary the other day, but I've sent it across to somebody. I've gifted it to a customer of mine. And it's winging its way across the Atlantic as we speak. So hopefully he's not watching. I'm not sure if he watches my channel or not, but it would be nice for him to get a little surprise. Hey Josh, Wessex campaign in a 780 Sandblast. Never heard of that. The Wessex. I've smoked a fair amount of the Wessex number 2, which is a Virginia Flake, which is very, very nice. The tin I had was very, very aged. I think I still have some of that tin. It's probably crispy dry by now. It's probably in one of my Tupperware containers. But you guys may remember me opening that tin maybe 4 years ago, and the aroma from that was like stewed bananas. An amazing aroma. Tin of 2016 Christmas cheer waiting to be cracked. It's a good year. The 2016 Jack is a good year. For me, the ones that I've had are 2005, 2014, No, I've had 2013, 2014. I think I've had 15, definitely had 16. I've had 17, and then the 40th anniversary. Out of all of them, obviously the 40th. The 40th was something different, but out of the regular Christmas cheers, so far, the ones that I've had, the 14 has been my favourite, without a doubt. Hey, Sed, how you doing? Ooh, oh, you're right, it was Astley's. You've got such an amazing memory, Josh. That was Astley's. Astley's number 2, the green tin. You're so right. Wow. Hey, Ian, how you doing? Wow. Why did I think it was Wessex? So maybe I've not had any Wessex. I mean, the Wessex gold block, is it called? The brick of Virginia. I see that from time to time surfacing on various different channels, and it's supposed to be a good blend. I don't think I've ever tried that. Hey, Bob. But I mean, I've got various different Virginias which I'm kind of letting age. I've got some. Where is it? I've got some Sutliff slices. I've got some 333, which is a blend from the Danish Pipe Shop, the My Own blend. I've got the Vintage Flake. You guys may remember a while back, I bought a few tins of the Vintage Flake. When I first smoked it, I wasn't impressed with it at all. And then I put the tin away and smoked it after about a year, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It had a beautiful, sweet note with that tobacco. So I've got a neighbour who actually comes from Denmark, and his family still lives in Copenhagen. And he was kind enough to buy me a bunch of tins. And so I think I've even got a tin, an unopened tin somewhere. But I've got... I've got these, what do you call these ones? 4 ounces? What are these known as, this size? I've got 1.5 jars of that size in the Vintage Flake, I think, plus another unopened tin. But anyway, so I've got a fair range of different Virginias aging at different ages. And obviously a variety of McClellans. I've also got some McClelland Orientals and Latakias, which I haven't bothered even trying. I do have some McClelland, the brown tins, 27, I think, which is supposed to be a fantastic Virginia. I haven't tried that. But I've got somebody who's wanting to purchase pretty much all my McClellans. But I haven't even thought about a price yet, so I'm going to have to look at that. I've got to take them all out, take pictures of them, and get that done at some point. And I think I've also got some McClelland like blending tobaccos, like Virginia, just pure Virginia, which could be quite interesting actually to add to other tobaccos. So my question is, which pipe to smoke this in? So historically, my Virginia pipe of choice for McClellans has been my Bentley pipe. Which I actually haven't used for ages. And pipes that I haven't used for ages, what I tend to do is to give them a good old clean out with alcohol before I use them again. The problem with that is that I find that if I smoke them fairly soon after giving them a clean out with alcohol, that they bite, even with a filter. So, I mean, alcohol, you expect alcohol to dry out pretty much straight away. Because it's alcohol, you expect it to evaporate, but clearly there is some which absorbs. But it just seems to have an effect And I've noticed it a few times, so I don't think it's a coincidence. I've noticed it a few times that when I clean it with alcohol and I smoke it very soon after, I get bitten. So I'm just gonna give it a dry clean with the pipe cleaner. Doesn't look too bad. Hey Sandro, how you doing? Ciao. Ciao Sandro. Amico mio. This stem is looking seriously oxidized. I mean, I've had worse, but it's got quite a brown tinge to it now. TPI, how you doing? McBrown's Scottish mixture. I don't think I haven't smoked the Scottish mixture since the very first days that I started smoking a pipe, and it was the days before I started using filters, and it bit me straight away. So I haven't tried it since. I think I've got a vintage tin of it somewhere, but I wouldn't crack that until I've tried a more current version to know if I like it or not. I'm not going to go for a full bowl. We'll see how it smokes. Hey Jeremy. Tonight it's some McClelland Christmas Cheer 2014. Hey Arthur, how you doing? Thank you very much, Arthur. Appreciate that. Actually, this pipe could probably do with a little bit of reaming. Philip. Sometimes when you tap down, the air hole gets blocked. So if you do is get something nice and thin and just put it down the back wall of your pipe till you reach the air hole and just clear the area. Just push the tobacco back a bit, and then you'll feel as you're sucking on it that the blockage frees, and then a gentle tap so you don't re-block it, and relight. It's more like it. But it doesn't want to stay alight. Well, you didn't have to get a pound bag, Jeremy. just get a tin if you want to try it. But if you don't like it, we'll work something out. But in all truth, hey Gray, in all truth, I don't. I mean, it obviously is an aromatic, a proper aromatic, but still, I consider it to be an aromatic which stands on its own. It's got a. I was saying just the other night, it's got a third dimension. Most aromatics, like proper heavy aromatics, you're smoking it for that flavour. If you happen to be a cherry fan or a vanilla fan, if you smoke any kind of cherry bomb kind of tobacco, or if you smoke some sort of goopy vanilla, you're getting it for that flavour. You're not going to be looking for subtleties in the tobacco. But vanilla roll cake, for me, has got a third dimension. Thank you, Mark. It's got obviously a good basis, a good base of vanilla. It's a good tobacco to start with, and it's a good vanilla flavour. That's the second dimension. The third dimension is, I don't know if it's because it's a different type of vanilla. It's listed as Madagascar vanilla, or if there's some other ingredient in there. But for me, the roll cake has got some kind of third dimension, which Josh calls like a cookie biscuit, cookie kind of flavour. It's got a certain spicy baked aroma kind of flavour in there, in addition to the regular vanilla. And that for me just takes it to another level. It doesn't make it more aromatic, more of a sort of goopy kind of style aromatic. It just gives it an extra quality. And I'm a big fan of it. On the days that Orlik doesn't work for me, and that happens quite often, tonight being one of them, I know that I can always fall back on roll cakes. I smoked Orlik in this tonight, and it was okay, but it wasn't a great smoke. On Friday, I think it was, or Thursday, I smoked it in my Castello, and again, it wasn't a great smoke. And that was from this jar, and this jar has been giving me awesome smokes. It's been giving me almost nirvana smokes of Orlik Golden Sliced, but the last couple of bowls just haven't worked for me, and that happens. You know, that happens from time to time. Hey Todd. Favorite blend is like favorite pipe, you know, it really depends, it changes all the time. But I can certainly say which are my favorite blends. You probably all know what they are. So certainly Orlik Golden Sliced, vanilla roll cake, Erinmore flake, and when I'm in the mood for Latakia, then it would be either Northwoods or, say, Special Latakia flake. I think those are probably the tobaccos that I smoke the most. But without a doubt, at the moment, it's Orlik Golden Sliced and vanilla roll cake most of the time, with the Erinmore coming in maybe a third, but quite far behind. There's a definite ridge on the inside of this bowl created by cake, which I'm not used to. I don't really tend to build up a lot of cake in my pipes. The silver flake, I have had that in the past. Not to be confused with 633. or are they the same? I get mixed up sometimes. So you get 633 and then 633 with Perique. But I think the silver is slightly different. It's possibly got some maybe some Kentucky in there. Well, Northwoods, as you know, in terms of cellaring, I've got a few. I try to buy an amount each year, so that each year I stagger it. So now I'm smoking from 2018, Northwoods from 2018, and I've just refilled it with the next year. Let's see which one it is. So I've just refilled it. So this is now got 2019 in it. It had previously 2018, but I finished it. So that's 2019. I think I've got some more 2019, and then I've got from 2020 and 2021. So by the time I get to smoking the 2021, it'll be probably 2 or 3 years old. I haven't bought any in 2022 yet. I'm not sure what the shipping is going to be like. I haven't really tried. I think things have changed a little bit with the various regulation changes in the States. But I do need to get maybe an 8-ounce bag or something like that of 2022 Northwoods. It's usually what I get is 8 ounces for each year. Sometimes I get a pound, but 8 ounces is plenty these days because I'm not smoking it that much. In terms of Orlik Golden Sliced, I wouldn't say I've got a huge deep cellar of it. I've got the tins, well, what I've got left of the tins that Jeff sent me very generously. So I've probably got maybe 4 or 5 of those tins left. I had a couple of tins already, so I've probably got about 6 or 7 tins of Orlik Golden Sliced. Some 100 grams, some 50 gram, so not a huge amount. And the vanilla roll cakes, I just opened a 100 gram tin. So up here I've got a newly opened 100 gram tin. Outside I've got maybe about half a tin's worth. I've got, I think, another 200 gram tins, or one, and 1 pound bag. So I'll be okay for a while. I'm going to try and get another pound bag, or maybe I'll ask somebody in the States to get me a pound bag, and then I'll feel a lot more relaxed. Erin Morphlake I don't have any cellar of at all. It's at the moment it's readily available here in the UK, so I should really get more of it. But it's quite expensive to buy any tobacco here. But it's probably not worth schlepping it from the States if I can get it here. So I should really stock up on that every so often, buy a tin here and there. You know, you never know which company's going out. You just never know. Dark Fried Kentucky, okay. I wasn't too far off. You bought a pound bag of Northwoods in 1819. What does that mean? 1 in 18 and 1 in 19, or a pound bag around 18 and 19? Is it going up to £20 now for a tin? I haven't really looked recently. Around, okay. Well, that should be smoking really nicely now. I'm just looking at GQ's website. They've got a Savinelli 321. I'm tempted by that. A 321 smooth in 9mm. I don't see them that often, and I have kind of been thinking about a 321, but now is not the time for me to buy pipes. Oh, they've got them in other types as well. They've got a Tigra as well. One day I might get myself a 321. Perhaps I'll make one. It's not quite the same thing, but how you doing, Luke? $29.99 for a tin. What a rip-off. That's crazy. But did they sell? If they sold, well, I guess they're going to sell it for whatever they can sell it. And that's the way the world works, isn't it? Yeah, I just saw that Vaughan one as well. It's a really nice looking bent billiard, that one. He's only showing it one picture of it though, which I don't know why he's doing that. I can't see what the other side looks like. It's got some really nice straight grain, although it is a little bit flamey at the top of the ball. Out of stock within an hour. Wow. Uncle Larry, how you doing? $56 grams, that's pretty good. I wonder why they're called Nana. I don't imagine that they're designed by Nana Iversen. Let's type in Erin Moore. They've only got it in pouches, I think. 50 gram tin is $17.69. That's not too bad. I mean, it's still expensive, but getting a problem on GQ's website. A lot of the pictures aren't loading. Anybody else getting that? Let me try a different browser. Yeah, that's what I was wondering, Phil, if it is Nana Iversen or if it's just a name. It's the website. It's not the browser. Yeah, the grain is very, very, it pops, doesn't it? In the coming week, I'll be making one of these. I've got a commission to do one of these. It's kind of a Danish apple, an Everson style apple. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I haven't done one of these for a while. Well, looking at the grain on the pipe, Phil, because it's kind of the straight grain runs out at the top, would seem to indicate that it's on a tilt. So you just don't know what the other side is going to look like. You can live with one profile. McBarons are finished here in the UK. It's an official position. It's not just that they're not in stock. They've moved out of the UK market. I had a guy send me a pipe. It was a Castello, actually. And he wanted a second stem made for it. But he wanted the original stem still to fit. So the stem that was in it was not 9mm. But he wanted another stem made. Was it 9mm, the second stem? I'm trying to remember. Trying to remember if I've got pictures of it. No, it's on that phone. But I do find it very challenging to make a new stem for an existing pipe. I do find that it's a completely different skill set, almost, in terms of tooling as well. To do a real sort of professional job, ideally you want to have a device that will hold an existing pipe. But I didn't do it that way. I made the stem and made it as close as possible by sanding with it drilled in. So the new stem put into the shank of the pipe, and then sanded it on the disc as close as I could without touching the existing shank, and then hand sanded it, and then just went back to it, put it in to see if it matched, sanded it again, put it back in, and so on. And I got there in the end. But when I went into Blake Mars, into Mike Billington's shop a while back, he's got, bench after bench of different machines, and it's then that you realise why they've got different machines, so many different machines, is because he does a lot of repairs. Ian Walker does too. And these guys are masters at that. And anybody that really contacts me for repairs, I generally send them over to Mike Billington or Ian Walker, depending on what the repair is. But stuff like making new stems and things like that, it's just, you're better off going to people who have been doing it for years. They've got so much experience with that. Yeah, I mean, you can refinish the pipe, but it was a Castello, a Ciroc style Castello. It was a straight sort of tapered shank. So yeah, when I was sanding it, I did allow myself to sand just a drop to get a really perfect connection, and then I restained it, and it's completely blended in, and you can't tell the difference. But ideally, especially with a textured finish, you got to be careful not to affect that finish. and sometimes the stamping is really close to the to the joint as well, so you've got to be careful not to hit the stamping, all of that kind of thing. So in an ideal world, for sure, you want to be able to sand it with the stem so it's a perfect joint. The problem with doing that is that it would have had an effect on the original stem. He wanted the original stem to be exactly as it is now, with no effect on it at all. So in order to do that, I had to do it without touching the shank. That's why it was a little bit more time consuming to do that. So I had to put the stem onto the shank, take it off, sand it a bit more, put it back and see if it was perfect, take it off, sand it a bit more, and so on. And that was also a square. It wasn't actually a square, it was a what do you call it? Like a trapezium. Is that what the shape is? So it was square, but the bottom was wider than the top. So it wasn't straightforward by any means. But we got there in the end. But it was a lot of, like I say, just painstaking. Sand, take off, check, sand, take off, check, sand. Because obviously I couldn't in any way change, even by a nanometer, the actual dimensions of the shank face. But we got it done. And then you've got the problem of, what can you charge for making a new stem? People don't realize it. I remember that I once ordered a pipe from, well, it doesn't really matter which pipe maker it was, but it's a well-known pipe maker. I commissioned a pipe, and I commissioned it with a regular stem and with a church warden stem. I got the pipe and it was all great, but I decided I'd like to have a stubby stem as well. The pipe was quite a hefty pipe, so by the time you get even the regular stem, the pipe was quite far away from your face. The weight of the bowl was pulling. So I thought if I get a stubby stem as well, I'll at least reduce the center of gravity, bring it closer to my face. It'll be easier to clench. So he made the stem, and I asked him the price, and he told me at the time it was about $60, something $60 or $70, and I was quite taken aback because the original pipe itself was, I don't know, $150 or maybe a bit more, I don't remember, but that was with two stems. So I thought, $60 for a stem? And then he said to me, do you realize that to make a stem is half the work of making a pipe? And this is way before I was thinking of making pipes. And in reality, it's just not viable unless you've got the machinery that will save you time. Making a stem takes a few hours, and you can't do that for 20 quid. People do, those who have got the machinery to do it quickly, but I couldn't do it for £20, and I think I charged this guy £65 for that stem. It was a black red Cumberland stem, Ebonite, so obviously there's a bit of cost in the rod itself, but I charged £65. It cost me more in time to make that than £65, that I can tell you, because in the time that I spent making that stem I could have easily made a pipe, but because I took it on, I felt bad to send it back and not do it, so I did it. But it's not something that I want to do really, until I get tooling for it. I mean, making it a stem is not the problem, it's fitting it to an existing pipe. That's the problem. And how did it go, Josh? Sorted it okay? $75 to $100 for a stem. Okay, I'm happy to hear that, because I felt a bit bad that maybe he thought I was ripping him off, Exactly, Phil. It's a never-ending search. And that's another thing, which is what TPI is just saying, Mark, that it's also nerve-wracking when you're repairing somebody else's pipe. There's always the danger that you might do some damage to the pipe, and then you're looking at possibly having to recompense the guy for the value of the pipe. And what if that pipe has a special meaning to the customer? Maybe it was a grandpop's pipe or something like that. And you know, yes, you can repair it, but maybe sometimes you do something to it which really affects the way the pipe looks, and the guy's upset about it. You can't really make up for that, can you? So it is a risk. I mean, I've had pipes done, and in the process, I've had a pipe converted to 9mm, and in the process, the pipe arrived with a silver collar on it, and I thought, I didn't order a silver collar, and I asked them about it. Said, yeah, I'm afraid the shank cracked. So he put a collar on it. Okay, fine, but sometimes you don't want a silver collar on a pipe. But you know, I didn't make a fuss about it. What can you do? It's done. He's done the best that he can do in the circumstances, and just have to live with it. It's life. That's good, Josh. That's one thing about YouTube, is that there's a huge amount of videos out there. You just got to search for them, but there are videos out there. I mean, I do. It's put it this way. Sometimes you see guys doing stuff on pipes, doing processes, but they shorten the video down, so you actually miss out a lot of the key processes, the basic stuff. Which, when you're first starting to learn how to make a pipe, it's that basic stuff which is really, really important. For me, one of the most important aspects of learning to make a pipe was simply loading a block onto the lathe. Just knowing how to do that in a way where it's going to drill correctly. And it took me a while. In the end, I think I got the information that I needed from Martin Dransfield, which is otherwise known as Mother Do Pipes. I haven't seen him make pipes for a long, long time. He did sort of that part-time. I think he's a nurse, if I'm not mistaken. He lives on maybe Jersey, or one of the Isle of Man, maybe one of those type of things. But he was very, very helpful to me, along with a bunch of people, including Phil, in the beginning when I was learning the basics. And Phil continues to be a help to me. I've got to be honest and, you know, really give him a lot of credit. He won't take it. He's a humble man, but he's and it's not just to me. He helps out anybody that's genuinely, you know, trying to work at making pipes, not just looking for shortcuts. Very generous person is Phil. I can imagine that, Giri. It must have taken you a long time, many years to do that. All right, Jeremy, be well. And the way I solve that, you may have seen me do that earlier, is when I'm doing a bent pipe, is just do that. And that should avoid that problem. So you tilt up the pipe, and you feed it in along with the bend of the pipe. And that should be just fine. Well, folks, I think that's it from me for tonight. It's been an enjoyable chat. I don't really have anything else to talk about tonight, unless you guys have got a topic that you want to start off. Hi, James. So for now, I'm going to wish you all well. Thank you very much. Andre Zoltzman, welcome aboard. How you doing? Cheers, Mike. Hope you're well. Hot Rod Bob, Ian, Phil, James, Patrick, Piper on the 45, Geary, Cole, Jeremy Viz, Josh, Mark TPI, Jack, Ryan, The Joker, didn't see you before, welcome aboard, Uncle Larry, Andy Lucas, and everybody else, Chip, I didn't see you there either. Hope you're all well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, everybody, and I will catch you on the next one.